around the cardboard box. As you can see in the warehouse, there's quite a lot of stock already boxed up. This is because most of our goods are made for the export markets, with America taking about 40% of what we make, and 10% staying in the UK. And we're producing 8,000 units each month in the factory here, and most of that has been ordered 3 months in advance by the export countries. So what we do here, we produce it, it gets packaged up, shrink wrapped, then gets put in line for its country, its designated country. And as soon as the container comes in, you can see in the far corner the container being loaded over there, which is why it's quite full at the moment. So there'll be a few containers come in, and you see a lot of this would be shipped out to the designated country. Up here above the lobby we've got a small museum. It's got some of our older amplifiers in it and some more interesting pieces. We've got some others which we keep stored away because there's lack of room in here. Some of the more interesting amplifiers in here is, right here we've got what is referred to as the #1 amp. Back in 1962, Pete Townsend plugged into that amplifier. That was the prototype that they set it on. Pete Townsend plugged in and said, yep, that's the sound we want. And so the first amplifiers were built to that specification at the back of the shop. That was sold in 1962. A gentleman went to the shop, a local gentleman wanted to buy an amplifier for his son, who was gigging on the following Saturday. And Mr. Marshall said, well, yeah, I'll sell you an amplifier, but it takes me a week to make one amplifier. And says, no chance I can have one for Saturday, I've got back orders. So the chap said, well, what about the one you got in the window? So he was sold this amplifier, it was put in a makeshift box, and off he went. And he brought it back 2 weeks later and said, excellent, fantastic, but can I have one of the production ones now? So it swapped over for production. And then when the company moved to Milton Keynes, that was sort of forgotten about, stored away under the stairs. And it wasn't found until they moved to the first factory on this site. And they found that and said, oh yes, that's that #1 amp. Since then, there have been a couple of offers for it from some of the well-known guitarists, which have all obviously been turned down because it means more to the company as a historical piece. You've also got a couple of pictures in here of, you've got a very early shot of Mr. Marshall on the drums. And you've got some of the old Park amplifiers in here, and you've got a couple of interesting pieces like the Kitchen Marshall and the Narb amplifier. Okay, we've got a couple of the signature amplifiers that we've done in here. You've got one down there, the Zach Wildhead, that we produced 600 of, I believe. And there's the Slash head further along. You've got two very different blues breakers in that picture as well. You've got the very early blues breaker at the front, and then behind it you've got the Jaguar 40th anniversary all leather blues breaker. Yeah, the very unusual guitar in the centre there, with a built-in amplifier and speaker which works. It was made for the Spinal Tap movie, for the second movie I believe. Over here you've got two of the offset heads. The rear offset head with an offset 4x12 cab is from 1962. That's how they originally made, was with an offset face, which meant that the amplifier, the head was balanced with the transformer, but people didn't want the face off, they wanted it centralised, which meant that the transformer had to go down one end, and the amplifier is now weighted one end. But the one in front, the offset face in front, is one of the reissue ones that was done for America and Japan markets. Okay, well, thank you very much for having a look around the factory. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for showing the interest in Marshall amplifiers. We're very proud of what we make. We're proud of the quality of Marshall amplifiers and speaker cabinets. If you need to know any more information, you've got a website you can have a look at, which is www.marshallamps.com, and through there you can email the company with any questions you have.